Hi, I'm Andy Mack from Akai Professional, and today I'm going to show you an exclusive look at the new MPC Element, which is the latest addition to the MPC control family. Now, what is different about the MPC Element compared to the Renaissance in the studio? Well, it's the first device that gives all the MPC features at an amazing affordable price point, but it also runs the MPC software, but in a slightly condensed down way. So with the original MPC software, you would have multiple track counts, but with the Element, you basically just have one track that you can layer as many drum parts as you want, which you can then load or upgrade to the latest MPC software and move those parts across. So basically, the Essentials software enables you to run all the classic MPC features directly inside your laptop or PC or Mac. Now, the beauty of the Essentials is the fact that you can open this up as an instance inside any DAW, but you can run it as a multiple plugin. So you could have one track with your drums, another track with your bass line, another track with your vocal parts. So the possibilities are endless, but you get all the classic MPC swing templates, you get all the multiple layering, so it really does expand your production at a very affordable price point. What I'm going to do then, I'm going to take you through the MPC Element, running inside my Mac or PC, so you'll see the software running standalone, okay, but that is linked to the controller, so you can't run this without a computer. So as you can see on the controller, we've got the 16 MPC pads, transport control, we've got our full levels, 16 levels for tuning, velocity, filtering. Then we've got our arrays, classic note repeat. We've got some track data here, which we will use inside your DAW, where you can select different instances of the plugin. And then we've got our pad banks. So as you can see on the Studio Renaissance, you have 8 pad banks now across 16 samples. So we just say, okay, we have samples here, here, and then it will load up your 16. Then we have the classic track mute and solo. So if I'm gonna make a beat, on the software, as you can see on the left-hand side, we have all our categories. So I can search by programs, by samples, by content, and also with the MPC Element, it comes with 3 new sample banks of sound, which are all dedicated to the whole dance industry. So you get about 1 gigabyte of all the latest cut-in house tracks, bass lines, kicks, snares, everything. And you can just literally double-click on these components, go to your program, and then you can just double click on all these different kits, and there's absolutely hundreds to choose from out of the 3 content libraries that comes with the MPC Element. So I've got some samples already preloaded in. So when we're in the main menu here, you can see that I've got all my samples assigned to the pads. Now, one thing the MPC does, which no other device does on the market, is how fast you can layer drums. So I've got 1 kick drum on here. I can simply go to my layers and I can just pick up another kick and go to my kicks, and now I've got 2. Now I can pick up another one, go down here, and now I've got 3. So I've got 3 layered kicks done in a couple of seconds. I can control the volumes of each kick, I can control the tuning, and then I can put a filter. And I've got about 26 filters. I've got MPC 3000 filter, and I can take my kick and just do that. And if that's not enough, what I can then do as well, on my right-hand side here, depending on what internal plugins I have, I can turn on my inserts, and I've now got access to all my AU VST plugins. So if I'm using Waves, UAD, I can literally just open one of these plugins up and insert it to each pad, and I can put up to 4 plugins on every single pad within the software. So, you know, the processing power for beat makers is absolutely stunning. So let's go on and make a beat, and I'll show you how quick this software works. So we'll take a kick drum here. We've got our tempo mapped out, or I can do my touch tap for my tempo. Put it into record mode. Now, if you make any errors on the beat, you can hold down erase, and it takes it straight out, and then you can drop it back in. Part done. Now, if you want to add the classic MPC swing, we can go up here, we'll go to our time correction, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to add swing to the whole track. And we move over, add about 62%, 63% of swing, and apply. And already you can hear that classic MPC swing that you hear on so many kind of dance and garage tracks. So now I've done that. Again, I'm not moving to another track because Element doesn't have track count. You just keep overdubbing, okay? So I can now go to use note repeat. Now I can change my note repeat and maybe change it to, say, 32. I could take the swing off and put it onto a 16. So you can easily layer real complicated shaker parts or whatever you want to do just by using the note repeat. And all the pads are velocity sensitive as well. So now again, if I want to add a swing onto my last part, again, I can just go to here, go up to my time correction, apply, and now everything's in the set of swing. Again, if you want it to shuffle a little bit more, now the whole grid's swinging now. I can expand my grid as well. Now what I've got here, I've got some vocal parts here. Now, if I want to chop that up, I can still stay inside the software. I can go to sample edit, go to chop, and now I can chop in different ways. I could say chop in regions and chop, say, 8 times, and then I can audition those with this button here. So I hit audition, and now all the slices are now on the screen. But if I want to cut with sensitivity, I can go to my threshold and I can set my thresholds up. And there we go. Once I've done that, and what I do, I'll now drop that into the mix. So I press convert, and what it will do, it will crop the samples for me. I get the option to make a brand new program, so they're all put into a pad group for me, or I can just chop them up as individual samples. So now, if I go back to my program, what I've got here, I've got all my kicks and snares. I go to pad bank number 2, which would be pad bank B here, where I've got like a bass sound. And then what I can do now, I can start adding all my components that I chopped up, because I want to keep them into this particular kind of drum bank. So I hit this pad here and I'll scroll down and all my cuts will be here. I can then open up this one, go put another kick, another vocal part on here, and then put a third one down. And then I can drop those into the mix. So we go back. Take it out of overdub. And that's done. And now I go back to bank A, and I'll put my snare down. And now our next element will be putting the bass line down. So I go to pad bank B, now as you can see, I've got one note running there. Now one thing the MPC does, which is classic, I take that one note and I can do 16 levels, and it gives me the option to do either velocities or tuning. Now I'm going to do tuning, and I go on here, press OK, and then I'm done. And now that one bass sound is across the pads, and I can now join that into the mix. we drop that down. So you can see how fast it is for actually building the foundation of a track from the ground upwards by just using a few samples. Now the thing with the MPC, I can just keep building track after track after track on the pads. So, you know, I can create such a massive piece of music in here that when I drag it into my DAW, I've literally got the whole track mapped out. Then I start running all my keyboard parts, all my synth parts, but the foundation of the track's already being built in a matter of seconds, you know, and you can do this with any music style you want. And what's also great as well, if you want to start enhancing what you've already done, again, before you even take it to the DAW, we can say, okay, we'll look at these vocal parts that we've done, which are on bank B. Come out at 16 levels, go to bank B, which are there. And I can start putting some vocal filters on it now. And then we can go, okay, we'll go to our mixer. Now you can see all the individual elements now of each sample. And I can say, okay, I'm going to put any effect that I want in my arsenal onto these MPC tracks now. Then I can load them up. So let's put a big reverb onto this particular part of the vocal. And then if you want to pump your whole mix up as well, we can then say, okay, I'll stop the mix. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how the MPC Element hardware and the Essentials MPC software integrates inside your DAW. So I'm using Logic and I've got a vocal in place, and what we're going to do is open up the MPC software. From here, we just go down to our instruments, Akai MPC Essentials, and open up here, and you can see we have a drum grid here, which is empty, and we can have a look at our pads to see what drum samples we have on there, and we can go into program edit if we want to kind of layer the drums more and mess with our levels. You know, we can pan stuff as well, so if we want to pan one of the hats to the left or right, we can do all that. We can do it after the beat. So let's go to full grid mode. We've got the MPC in record mode already. Okay, we'll move it slightly out of the way over here, and then we'll put Logic into record mode, and I'm just going to mute my vocal for a second, and we're just going to work on the drums. So that's my kick and snare. I'm going to lay the hi-hats now. Now, any changes we want to make to the beat, we can just go in. So we might want to move this. I can play my levels, bring each instrument down, each part. So that's my basic loop playing now. Turn off my metronome, move my plugin out of the way, and I'm going to move and bring in my vocal part. Take Logic out of record, and this is the vocal 8 bars that I'm going to work with. And then we're going to put a Rhodes down, which I just opened up here. We're going to record that part down now. And now we can go to our bass. Drop that down now. And now I can close down the MPC element and open up a new instance. So I've now got my next instance of MPC here. And now I've got a different drum kit loaded up. Now I can add over the top of this now. So now, we can keep adding to this. I can use note repeat to do some rolls. Now we're at a clap to the beat. Now I'll do another hi-hat. I'm going to change the time correction to 16. And if I want to do some more faster rolls, I can put it back to 32 again. And that is how the MPC integrates inside Logic. But also, what I can do if I want to start processing my drums more, actually inside Logic, instead of bouncing down the drums internally, which we can do, I can then go to my MPC Essentials instance. Again, we can look at our parts here. I can solo them, play them, and then what we can do is go to Program Mix, and now I can see all the elements. I can name my samples, name my tracks, but then I can turn on my compression and start compressing the beat. But I'm actually not compressing the whole beat, I'm compressing the elements of the drums. So I could go to my kick drum and put a compressor on my kick drum. And then come back out, and go back to the track. And again, if we want to change some other stuff, we can turn off mute parts, bring the snare back in, and then if we really do want to start working the drums more, we can go to our snare, go to our program edit, and then we can look at the layer of the drums and say, okay, I want to bring down the live drum and bring up the 808, and then I want to go down and maybe add a clap onto that, or maybe a tighter clap, and then put it back into the beat. We'll go back to Logic. Bring up the acoustic snare. Bring the clap down. So you can now see the power of what the MPC offers you when you're making your tracks inside Logic. When you're running it as multiple instances, it gives you all the classic MPC swing, it gives you the templates, it gives you the ability to layer drums very, very quickly, it gives you processing power actually inside your drums, so it really enhances any kind of production that you're doing. And again, this is an absolutely incredible price for what you're getting with the MPC Element, £119. You know, the fact that you can take the MPC, run it inside your DAW, or run it as a standalone device on your PC and Mac.